Hi there, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use an equalizer on vocals like a pro. This is an in-depth tutorial for anyone who wants to learn how to do a little bit more than the regular EQing method. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to clean up vocals, fix common problems, and enhance the overall quality of your vocals using just EQ. But before we dive in, it's important for us to understand the things that EQ can do for our vocals. First of all, EQ can modify your vocals to sound like someone else. So if you're thinking of trying to make your voice sound like a certain artist, it's hard. You can use an EQ or really any effect to get that to happen. Secondly, you can't expect EQ to dramatically improve your vocal recording, especially if your recording source or your recording process was really bad. Finally, an EQ is not just a fancy curve that you drag all over the place to hear what sounds good. There needs to be a reason behind every curve you make when using an EQ. Now that we know what EQ can do, let's see what we can do with an EQ. First of all, EQ can help remove unwanted frequency in our recordings, especially for vocals. If you use EQ correctly, you can use to hide or reveal certain elements in the mix. And the third thing we can do with an EQ is that some EQs can actually enhance your vocals, especially if it's well recorded. Now, there are several types of EQ techniques, but in this lesson, we'll take a look at two common EQ techniques, which you typically need for most vocal mixes. And there are the surgical EQ and the tonal EQ. So before we get too deep, I have an in-depth course on my website. If you're looking to learn how to mix professionally, this course will take you from start to finish, from the basics into advanced lessons. You can get it from my website or click the link in the description below. Surgical EQ is very precise. You can see it right here. It's a very precise EQ that allows you to boost and cut, basically any specific frequency bands, all right? Now, parametric EQ are one of the most popular choice for performing surgical EQ, as it allows you to fish out specific frequency bands. For example, if I want to cut out about, let's say, 1290 hertz, I can find that exactly and, just do the boost and the cuts, okay? I'm going to reset this, all right? All right, so I'm going to turn EQ on and then we hear the vocals.
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight. Make loving in Miami. Oh, Mali, Shadi, Shala. Make you give me a right to us. Do me nicely. On a lot, be my Julie. I'll be your Romeo. Yeah.
So the first thing we want to fix when dealing with vocals most of the time are low-end rumbles, okay? And you typically find that problem around the 100 to 150 hertz, and this depends on the microphone you use, the tone of the artist's vocal, okay? So I'm going to just come right here, use a high pass, right-click this, type high pass order, step 8, okay? We're going to swing all the way up until, let's say 130. Now, this depends. This varies per project, okay? So you need to cut, but make sure that the vocal does not end up sounding too thin when you do the cuts, okay?
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight. Make loving in Miami. Oh, Mali, Shadi, Shala. Make you give.
If I turn it off,
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight. Make loving in Miami.
and if I turn it on again,
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight.
you can hear how much cleaner it is already just by taking out that low-end rumble, okay? The next thing we want to fix when, EQing vocals is the high-end sharpness, okay? A lot of times, especially depends on the microphone, some vocals do tend to sound too harsh in the high end, okay? And to fix this problem, okay, we typically want to adjust around the 2 hertz to 5 kilohertz range, okay? Just somewhere around here, 2 hertz to 5 kilohertz range, all right? And we can do slight cuts. I recommend you stick to not more than 3 dB plus or minus if you have to do cuts or boost, okay? Now, this may vary depending on your project as well, but this is often a safe place to start. So I'm going to come right here and just, do a little boost, a little cut, just take this down.
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight. Make loving in Miami. Oh, Mali, Shadi, Shala. Make you give me a right to us. Do me nicely. On a lot.
If I turn it off,
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight. Make loving in Miami.
when I turn it on, listen to that high-end sizzle.
Time, she gave me my life. And everything turned brand new to corner ride. Book on a flight. Make loving in Miami. Oh, Mali, Shadi, Shala.
You can see it's no longer exaggerated, right? So now we're going to fix the third part, which is also very common in vocals, which is, the mid-range or, the nasal, boxy sounds that we tend to hear, and which is very obvious in this vocal, okay? And typically, it's usually in the mid-range of the vocals. So right here, we have the 600 hertz, somewhere around here. Okay, but I'm going to just start with the low mid-range, then just do a scoop. You can see right here, just do a notch like this, all right? And then I'm going to find where it resonates the most.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala.
I could hear that. Same thing, you want to stick to at most minus 3 dB. You don't have to go down to 3 dB, but try not to cross minus 3 dB of cuts, okay?
Time, she gave me my life, and everything.
Then find something again here in the mid-range.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala. Make you give me overdose, do me nicely, oh no, love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah. There's nothing in.
Yeah, I could hear it there, so I'll cut it out as well. And then come here again, scoop.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala. Make you give me overdose, do me nicely, oh no, love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah. Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride.
Okay, hear it there, so I'll cut that out too.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala. Make you give me overdose.
And if I turn off the EQ, this is how your vocal sounds. That is the surgical EQ.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala. Make you give me overdose, do me nicely, oh no, love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah.
You can hear how boxy, and how all over the place it is. But when I turn it on, you can hear how much cleaner it is.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala. Make you give me overdose, do me nicely, oh no, love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah.
You can see it sounds so much cleaner, and you can also hear it's not sounding, it's not a drastic change, right? I'm still preserving the presence of the vocal. I'm only just fixing problems that I could hear in the vocals. So make sure you can hear these problems before you go in and fix it. Not all vocals are harsh. Some are even dull from the recording source. Okay, so you may even need to boost a little bit, but like I said, you need to hear the problem first before you go in and fix it. So after EQing your vocals correctly with surgical EQ, that is surgical EQ technique, right? We're going to use this EQ right here, tonal EQ, to add some character to our vocals. Now I recommend using analog modeled EQs to do this because they typically add some character because they were modeled after hardware units, all right? So there are so many options you can go with. For example, like the SSL E-channel or the one I'm currently using, the Sheps EQ, which is my favorite at the moment for vocals, okay? There are a lot more, but I just recommend you use an analog modeled EQ. And now with this EQ, we're going to use to enhance frequencies that we want to hear and take out some frequencies that we don't want to hear, okay? For example, right, you can see it's not as precise as the parametric EQ. You can see that, right? So I'm going to turn it on. This is how it sounds without even, doing anything to the vocal.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned round. You to corner ride, book on a flight, make loving in Miami, oh Mali, Chadi Shala. Make you give me.
You see, it already adds a little bit of warmth to the vocal already just by passing through it. And this is why I recommend analog modeled effects that do tend to add a little bit of character to the vocals, okay? Now, I recommend you use this in the stereo, okay? We're not trying to do a mid-side processing, okay? So keep it in the stereo. Make sure it's in the stereo control, okay? So we're going to come right here, start by doing some cuts in the low end. You can switch right here. This is the low.
Time, gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight.
So let's take it up to 110 hertz. Let's take it to 220 hertz. So but we have to be careful when doing the cuts.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my, make you give me a ride.
With just that cut alone here when it's turned off.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride.
When it's on.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride.
So I'm going to take the mids right here and take it to about 700 hertz or 0.7 kilohertz. All right. So I'm just going to do some boosting a little bit. Okay, just about about a dB or 2 dB, right? Just to add more presence to the vocal.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my, make you give me a ride. Do me nicely, on a love.
And when it's turned off.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh.
When it's turned on.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my, Then
I want to add a little bit of sizzle to the vocal. So I'm going to just boost a little bit in the high end.
Time, she gave me my life, do me nicely, on a love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do when I spend my time.
So when I turn off the EQ, this is how it sounds.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my,
And when I turn it on again, this is how it sounds now.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my, make you give me a ride.
So when I turn off both EQs, this is how it sounds.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my, make you give me a ride. Do me nicely, on a love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah.
And when it's on.
Time, she gave me my life, and everything turned brand new. Took on a ride, book on a flight. Make loving in Miami, oh my, make you give me a ride. Do me nicely, on a love, be my Julie, I'll be your Romeo, yeah. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do when I spend my time with you. Just wanna be a pray for. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do when I spend my time with you. Just wanna be a pray for. Yeah. Can you make me realize? Say this loving no be lies. What angel in disguise when I.
So this is pretty much, how you EQ your vocals like a pro, to have that presence, that clean vocal that fits just right in the beat. If you found this helpful, like and follow for more. I remain Sir Classy. This is SC Tuts. See you soon. Cheers.